Hi everybody, welcome to the Back Alley Blues Review. I'm your host Diamond Bob, and we're here at McClellan, California at Blues on the Patio. And we have a very, very special guest to interview today. This is the world-renowned guitarist and vocalist, Chris Cain. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Bob, very much.
How you doing today?
Wonderful, man. Thank you for having me on.
Good. I have a few things here. I know a lot of people that you know. I've never met you before, but I've heard your music on a CD called Blue Monday.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah.
Chris Calter, Danny Hall, and
fellas.
Ronnie Beck. Yeah.
That's one of the records that I'm really proud that I was able to be on because I love those guys. You know, they made that record just kind of one weekend, and I was just lucky that I was on that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good. Well, you know, I have a few things here, and it says you were influenced by B.B. King, Albert King, as well as various jazz players. So I used to like to sing B.B. King. I couldn't play guitar, but what's your feelings about that when you're on stage? Because I've seen you play, and you get lost in your guitar, brother. You are in it. So I just wonder, how does that transpose from Chris Cain into what you're doing on the guitar?
Well, you know, it's kind of like channeling a guy if I'm playing like something by maybe BB or like Albert King. Those guys I loved so much as a kid that I really studied a lot of what they did. So when I'm playing those tunes, I kind of start channeling, you know. Fellas, maybe it's not healthy, but it's like, I'm really not thinking as much as you get a certain feeling
And do it. Well, you know, in playing the blues, and you know, Danny taught me how to play the harmonica and stage presence and all that. I feel blues is in your soul, and when you feel it, I play by ear, so you can just do that thing. And when I watch you, man, you are lost in that.
I appreciate that. You know, I mean, I always try to like really connect with the instrument. You know what I mean? And I feel like just as a kid that was like a friend that I had. You know.
Well, nice, yeah. It says Chris presents a seamless and sophisticated set of complementary guitar-based blues, referencing many others, while at the same time maintaining his own integrity and style. Most of all, B.B. King comes to mind. Chris will trail off in the West Montgomery or Albert King riffs, creating a whole new dimension to his songs.
That's really kind. I love playing the guitar, and I love the guys that I try to learn from. So I mean, that's very kind words.
So it says here, I mean, you've had albums, you had good reviews on albums, you've had hits, you nominated for different awards. I mean, it just goes on and on the list.
Well, just probably because I'm old. It's like it seems like I did like a bunch of stuff, but I mean, you know, I've always just felt like I was lucky to have like a band that wanted to play the stuff that I wanted to play. You know what I mean? Find three other people that want to do what you want to do. You know what I mean? So I just even having a gig is, you know what I mean? It's
nice.
Like more than I really, you know what.
Well, I think it's good when everybody enjoys what they're doing, you know what I mean?
Well, I got lucky with like the band that I'm fortunate to play with. They play with a lot of love, and they make it look like I know what I'm doing a lot of times because they listen and they play so well.
Fill in, huh?
And not behind, but with me. I'm really lucky because I've had a lot of bands that didn't do that.
On the bass guitar. Stevie Evans. Stephen Evans. Well, I'm on a high wire, falling in love without a net. Seems like the further I go, oh, little girl, the less of you I get. Sailing on a high wire. Some folks say I'm on a drop. I've got to make it to the other side, baby. Boy, got my love and you on the top. On the bass guitar. Thank you so much, everybody. Baby got it going on. Baby got it. Baby got it going on. My baby, she's so fine. I worry every time she's on. Yeah, she's pretty as a picture. She treats me like a king. She walk into a room, bring out hold everything my baby got. Baby got it going. My baby, she's so fine. I worry every time she's on. Ron on the keyboards. Greg Ron. By myself. Hey, you better help me, baby. Can't do it all by myself. Well, if you don't help me, baby, gonna have to find somebody else. I have to wash it. I might have to sew, might have to cook, might have to scrub the dirty floor. Help me, baby. I'll do it all by. Well, if you don't help me, baby, gonna have to find somebody. By myself, very wrong. Oh, you better help me, baby. know. Well, if you don't help me, baby, gonna have to find somebody. Well, help me, baby, gonna have to find somebody. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
What convinced you to choose blues music?
You know, I don't even know if I think it chose me, kind of. It was like my father had all the records, and we always heard that music in the house, and I just couldn't leave his records and things alone. It was like it, you know, it seemed like it just. My brothers all love the music as well, but I feel almost like it chose me or something. It was out of my hands, really.
At what age did you get your first guitar?
I got my first guitar when I was around 8 years old, and then when I was 10, I got this one that had all 6 strings. It was in tune, but the one that I had from when I was 8 had like 4 strings, maybe tuned, however, and I knew how to play that one. So when I got like one that was in tune with all the strings, I couldn't play any of my little tunes. The thing was in tune,
Kinda
had
like
all the
starting
strings.
over,
It was
right?
like,
How well do you find blues is accepted in other countries? 'Cause I know you travel around the globe, and that's why we're so happy to have you on our show, because your influence and what we will be able to do, and your friends overseas, if they can get on the Ultraflix, they'll be able to see your
That's
music
very
and
nice,
everything.
man.
So, how do you feel that it's accepted there, blues?
oh, it's so, God, they really, you know, they just treat it with such a reverence, you know. It seems like where you have it and it's there all the time, maybe you don't notice it, or kind of maybe you appreciate it, but maybe not to the extent that those folks seem to just, you know, they know every track on the record. They, you know, they're just really just, you know, and it's wonderful to go somewhere and, you know, have people, you know, react to the stuff that you play every day like that, you know.
Now, I know you're influenced by a lot of people, but I'd like to know, who was the artist that you played with that you were in tune with the most or liked the best? Or
Well, you know, I can't say like the best, but Albert King probably be just because, you know, I loved him as such a idol of mine, and then to go to Memphis and have him come to my gigs and, you know, spend his time talking to me like, you know, his free time, just was a friend of mine. And I mean, to this day, I you know, I mean, I have to look at the pictures. Just it's hard to believe that actually happened. But
yeah.
I mean, I loved him so much, and you know, I mean, he was just very kind to me.
Now, what your latest CD? What is the name of your latest CD?
The latest I just did a few years ago was called "So Many Miles," and it was different than most of the records that I've ever made. Where the tunes were kind of little movies, like little narratives, not like "My Baby Left" or anything. It was more like, you know, what's his name comes out of the thing. It was like more like a movie. It was just an experiment that I was doing for my own entertainment.
Oh, okay.
And so when the fellas came from the label and asked me if I wanted to make a record, I said, I've been working on this thing, but it's not. So when then, you know, it wasn't for like a record, it was just for my own entertainment kind of. And so then they liked it and wanted to release it. So I never thought it would be a record. And then to have like a bunch of people play on there, Robin Ford played on there, and
Nice.
Larry Carlton, and a bunch of people, which was never the plan. You know what I mean? I just did it for my own, like, laughs at home.
Now, I like to do a little research before I interview, and I saw that your CDs that you have, many of them, are on Amazon.com.
Yeah, good. Well, that's good. I mean, just rarely. Sometimes I never have them when I go there, so it's great that there's some place I can find them.
Fine, yeah.
Bless their
So
hearts.
now everybody knows if you want to get a Chris Cain CD, and there's many of them, you can go on Amazon.com
Thank you, buddy.
and you can buy them. Now, real quick, did you travel to Argentina and Chile?
Yeah.
Did I read that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went down there, and that must be a pretty good.
Those guys in Argentina, they are like crazy about Albert King. So everywhere I went, it was like all the guitar players were trying to play like Albert King. It's wonderful. I mean, it was.
So here's the deal. We're here with our friend Chris Cain, our new friend, and I'm Diamond Bob. Brought to you by Nanotech Entertainment and Olympian Ultraflix. That's the Back Alley Blues Review with your host, Diamond Bob. And we will see Chris Cain a little bit later. We'll watch his show. And I want to welcome you all back at some time in the future. So, okay, we'll talk later, Chris. I really like